everybody, it's Aisha Lever, your favorite realtor with Fit Realty and Associates, powered by United Real Estate Premier. Today I am here with the lovely Karen Gowin, like Gowin in the mortgage industry. All right, so Karen.
Good morning.
Meet everybody.
Hello.
Karen is with
Village Bank Mortgage.
And could you tell the people a little bit about yourself?
I've been in the mortgage industry for over 16 years. Love helping my customers. Helped over 2,500 customers with the mortgage process, and just love helping, guiding them through the process and making sure that I answer all their questions from beginning to end.
Okay, awesome. How long have you been doing VA loans?
Since my beginning of my career, so for 16 years.
Okay, so if you had to do a rough estimate about how many veterans you've put into homes, what would you say?
I would say between 400 and 500.
Wow, okay, awesome. Well, that's always great for our community to know that they have a trusted loan officer to make sure their financing go correct during this process and get them into homes. What role do you play in the home buying process for those that are not aware of how lenders contribute to them getting into the home?
Well, the role I provide is, one, it's never too early. I think the misnomer is clients will wait until they want to find a home. So it's trying to help them with their credit if they have issues. So the way I like to guide them is just making sure, one, how much they want to pay for a mortgage. What is the payment? Maybe because you can qualify for more home, but it may not be what is in your budget and what you feel comfortable with. So you don't want to be house rich and cash poor. So
absolutely.
So finding out what that magic spot is for them, and letting them know, what I like to do is, because with Village Bank Mortgage we have a VIP pre-approval process. So what we do is we collect everything up front so that you are underwritten. You're like a cash buyer, so which is powerful. So when you're ready to find that perfect home, you don't have to wait I got to call a lender to get pre-approved. You already know how much the maximum you can get pre-qualified for. But two, it helps you help them when they go to you to find a property, that you're not finding them something that is more. They love the home, but then when they find out what the payment is, they're like shocked that okay, my gosh, I love that home, and everything goes to that standard, right? So everything is going to kind of come to that, and they're going to be disappointed. So it's better to know early on how much you can qualify for, and that way you can set the right guidelines and the right search so that we can help find the right home for them.
Okay, awesome. So in that buying process, at what point you as a person, as a mortgage person, lender, at what point do you want the buyer to get in contact with you? Like, how important is it for them to get with you as soon as they know they want to buy a home?
The earlier the better. Don't wait until they're ready to buy. I mean, once they think that they want to buy a home, that's when they should be reaching out. Don't be afraid. I mean, knowledge is power. Some people are like, because the media has everyone thinking that it's hard to get a mortgage. It's not. Their VA is one of the best loan products in the country. It is by far. There's no mortgage insurance. It's typically lower interest rates, and the underwriting guidelines are less stringent. So it's easier to qualify. With a no mortgage insurance means they can qualify usually with a higher purchase point.
Oh, nice.
So it makes their payment lower. So they may be able to qualify for more home and not really change their payment much because they're not having to pay mortgage insurance. So really early on, because then if they have some bumps and bruises on their credit, I can guide them. Or their credit isn't where they want to be. It may be that their credit balance to credit limits are too high. It's like, we'll pay those down. Typically, you want to be at 30% usage on a credit card to have the best impact on your credit score.
Oh, nice. Okay. And I always was familiar with no more than 40%, but 30% actually is better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anywhere, 10 to 30%, but 30%, because that's going to be where you're going to get the most bang for your credit score to help improve it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what are the 3 common myths that are associated with the VA loan?
One, that they're difficult to get, that they take too long to close, which is not true. VA has done a lot to streamline the process. It used to be like with the appraisal process that they would nitpick and add all these conditions. So they've really streamlined the whole process. So it typically takes about 2 weeks for the appraisal to come in, and it's a VA appraiser. So that's one of the myths. The other one is that most veterans don't know that they have the benefits. So 1 out of 3 veterans don't even realize they have that benefit.
I just actually learned that, especially like even if they've been reserved, they still have the benefit. It's just a different time frame.
Right, and it's a lifetime benefit. It's not that you use it once, you can use it again and again and again. Sometimes you can even have multiple VA loans depending on certain criteria. And then the other, there's a few other, what was the other one? There's a few of them that I've missed.
That's okay.
Credit score, that they can't qualify. Terrible.
Oh, that's okay. Take your time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's very interesting to be able to sit down with professionals in our industry and just kind of get an idea of why these things are so important and why this process is so important. I feel like the more educated the buyer is when they go into the process, the better the process will be for them.
Right.
You know, sometimes it's kind of like, oh, I'm kind of nervous. I think this kind of helps them know the right questions to answer as well as to prepare them for the process.
Right, and so the other thing is that with the VA loan, that the misconception is that it's a lousy loan product. It isn't. It is one of the best products. It has the least amount of foreclosures because the guaranteed part of it, they work with the veteran to make sure that there's no issues. They try to help resolve that so that doesn't go into foreclosure. 2, they think that they have to have good credit. Well, you don't. There is no requirement for VA. But, you know, some lenders are going to have certain FICO credit score guidelines. But it all is going to depend on the whole credit scenario. So once we run it through desktop underwriting, we get an approved eligible, good to go. So there really is no minimum credit score requirement. So that's another misnomer. That they can't reuse it, which is not true. I think we went over that. That it takes forever, it doesn't. It's pretty normal for any other. We typically can close a VA loan within 30 days.
Yes, I've definitely closed one in 15 days,
Yes.
20 days.
The biggest thing is getting everything up front. So if we do the VIP pre-approval, have all the income and assets already verified and your credit approved, it's basically finding the property, ordering the appraisal, and then getting all the title work back.
So this is the part where the buyer has to hold themselves accountable to make the process easier.
Absolutely.
With having all of their documents up front, making sure the lender has everything. And what kind of documents, for the most part, like should they have prepared for you?
The biggest thing is the DD-214. That is huge, so that we know that we can get the certificate of eligibility. If they have a disability, if they have that disability letter. They're coming out now where the certificate of eligibility is actually showing the amount of the disability on there, which really helps.
Nice. Okay.
So they're getting better on documenting that up front. 2 current pay stubs. So if they're still actively in the military, do you all would get paid once a month? I think
some people do get paid once a month, but they only release the LES once a month, like for the month prior to.
Right. So if that's the case, then we would need 2 statements just to show 2 months' income. Usually you have to show 1 month's income, but if you only get 1 pay stub, you want to show 2. So if you're paid monthly, you want to show 2 statements, and then if you're bi-weekly, the most recent bank statements, and then 2 W-2s, the most recent W-2s. So,
And those are just the basic requirements.
Basic.
Because I mean, if it's other things that you have going on, then those documents are going to be required. But to start out, to get ready to go, to say I'm ready for this process, those are the most important things that Miss Karen would need, and any other lender that you should use would need up front.
and the other thing to remind is don't make large deposits.
I just learned that yesterday too.
Do not make any cash deposits, no mattress money. That's just hard to document.
Yeah.
So those are the things to try to avoid. So if you're getting a gift, let me know early on so we can figure out how to do the paper trail.
Okay.
Or as long as it's in your bank account for 60 days and it's seasoned, then you know what? We don't even have to address that. So really, if you're getting money or if you have money at home and you just haven't deposited it, you want to make sure you put it in the account and let it get seasoned. So that
How long does it have to be? Is it like 30 days, 45
well,
days?
60 days.
60.
So if you need 2 months bank statements, you don't want to have it show up. So, just make sure that, if you're, most have automatic deposit for the payrolls, but, if you get your check and you cash part of it and you deposit part of it, that's just going to be a processing nightmare. So,
Right. Yeah.
make sure you keep copies of your paychecks, because then you're going to have a letter of explanation of, okay, I cashed my check out. So anything they can kind of share up front. So if they're not ready to buy a home yet and they can change maybe to direct deposit, that'll help alleviate those kinds of things, just to make the process easier and smoother for them.
And that's so funny because I actually found that out when I was purchasing my own house almost, I think it's been 3 years now. So we had a bunch of different money that wasn't liquidated. It was in different investments. And I was like, oh, well, I didn't know we needed this earnest money deposit. But my agent was also new, so she didn't walk me through the process, the proper way. We were also buying sight unseen, so we were doing everything from Hawaii to here. And so I told my aunt, I said, hey, can I have $1,500 to put down on this contract? And as soon as the money is liquidated into my account, I will send it right back to you. Well, we get to the lender, and the lender's like, we need to know where this $1,500 came from. We need a copy of that person's bank statement.
Oh, yes.
This person needs to sign that. And in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so invasive. And I felt so bad because now I'm asking my aunt for extra things to do when all she did was literally loan me $1,500. And then the lender was like, and make sure that they don't you don't pay them back that $1,500 because it's now a gift. And I was just like, this is just so much work. But at the end of the day,
earlier.
yes, had I known earlier, talking to a professional like you before I did that, I would have known. But it was just a learning lesson. And now that I'm a realtor, knowing these things up front, I kind of counsel my clients through that before they even get with the lender when we do the buying process.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So can you kind of tell us what are the pros of the VA loan and a little bit about what it is that your company offer for the VA veterans?
All right, so the benefits of the VA loan is it's 100% financing. There's no mortgage insurance. The payments are going to be, so you can save yourself about $200 plus a month depending on purchase price.
Wow, really?
And for the mortgage insurance, it's huge. So that is huge purchasing power on how much more they can increase their purchase price limit. So they may have thought they could only afford $180. Well, maybe now they can afford $220 and be at the same payment that they want to be because they don't have that MI.
Wow.
So that's huge. The fact that interest rates are lower, VA underwriting guidelines are very, they're not as stringent as, conforming conventional loan programs. So the, and what Village Bank Mortgage brings to the table is that to help our veterans, we don't charge a $9.95 processing and underwriting fee. So that's almost $1,000 right off the table.
Saved.
That
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
that they can use. They may not have to. That can help you in their negotiating power on purchasing that home. That maybe they don't have to ask so much in closing cost assistance.
Okay.
The other benefit is that the sellers can pay all the closing costs and can pay up to 4% of additional things for the veteran, whether it's As long as it appraises, of
Correct,
course.
correct.
For, say they had, judgments or collections, or they had to pay off a debt to qualify. So that is just powerful for the veteran.
Wow, okay. Now I know we also talked about the disabled veteran. A lot of people are under the misconception that you have to be 100% disabled to qualify for the waive of the funding fee.
Right. So that's a myth. You only have to be 10%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's really good. And even with the, what would you say is the average? Like in my mind, I say $5 for every $1,000 when I'm calculating what the price of a mortgage might be. Do you have something different there?
It's for every 10,000 is about $40. So you probably, it's at the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of a way for them to kind of gauge what something might cost, not including their own circumstances of interest rates or anything like that, but just to give them a quick idea.
Right. And a lot of times if we're in that process and they want to kind of know, again, it depends, a lot of things that'll come into play with that. It's, where the home's located. What is the real estate taxes? Because real estate taxes is another. So what constitutes your payment is the principal and interest payment on the amount that they're borrowing, the real estate taxes, and the homeowner's insurance. So I help guide them, if they don't have homeowners, to kind of get some different quotes to kind of help keep their payment in line. Real estate taxes, we can't do anything about those. They
Homeowners associations too.
HOA. So so there's a difference. So if you're going for a single family and it's somewhere that doesn't have an HOA, again, your purchasing power goes up because you're not having to use the debt to income ratio towards the HOA.
Okay.
So
now, rolling right over to people understanding, because a lot of people that I deal with are veterans because I'm a military spouse. They want to use like a Navy Federal, or they want to use the USAA because it comes natural to us, considering that we use them for our car insurance, we use them for banking, we use them for our renter's insurance, our homeowner's insurance. Why is it so important for them to know to use a local lender versus a larger financial institution?
Well, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be going to like a call center. So you may not get the same person every single time. So I'm a local lender. I'm always accessible. So that's number one. I think that's key. We have local. Well, for VA, obviously we have to go through VA, but if, say, for the different type of mortgage, we're local, we have local underwriting, we have processing, closing, underwriting right in my office, so I can just go down the hall and say, okay, what's the issue, this is my understanding, so I can get a lot of things resolved early on, and I don't have to worry about it's ease. Because we're smaller, we can get things resolved, and it's just a matter of getting clarification early on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can agree, just being a realtor, I think it's very important for them to use a local lender because of the accessibility, as well as I usually find your rates to be about 0.25% more affordable than larger institutions. From just working with my different clients and us talking about what they've been quoted, I seem to find the rates to be a little bit better for them as well.
Right, absolutely.
All right. So just if buyers choose to use your services, why would they choose your services over other lenders?
I am dedicated to my clients from the very beginning. I'm looking to get them, to search out the best loan program for them, to get them the best rate, to make sure that there's any questions early on, that I get the answers, that I'm accessible when they need to. I have a loan officer assistant, I have processing, underwriting, that, it's just a matter of a click to get answers for them. It's very important that you have somebody who's real experienced. I've been in the industry for over 16 years now. So it's important to know someone who knows the market, who knows the area, to know the product, and to be able to get them smoothly from beginning to end.
Absolutely. I find the hands-on approach a little bit better because I deal with veterans that are coming from one place to the next. They already have a lot of complications going just between what's known as a PCS, which is a permanent change of duty station, and I just like them to feel like someone is kind of holding their hand, because a lot of times going through these transactions, I feel like they feel alone, and I feel like people just, okay, it's another transaction, and what I don't want for my clients is for them to feel like they are just a number, they're just a transaction.
Right.
So I definitely appreciate that from our local lender industry.
And the other thing that I do is to make sure, so if they're getting closing cost assistance, is to make sure that they're getting use of every single time. So sometimes you'll
And that's
get
important.
$6,000 to $7,000, and you know, with us giving $1,000 and not charging $1,000, it's like, okay, you know, let's give me, if as long as they pay from their checking account, show me that you've paid for your home inspection. We'll charge that to the seller, give you a credit as a POC. So there's potential for you to get that money back at closing.
Wow, that's really nice.
If there's extra money, I had one not too long ago. We ended up paying almost a year of HOA dues.
Wow.
So it's really, we're very creative in trying to figure out, okay, how can we really spend and allocate this so that we don't leave money on the table, because then that goes back to the seller, which is fine. But if you've gotten that for that client, let's figure out how we can best use it and give it to them and make sure that they benefit 100%.
Nice. So what is one unique contribution to the veterans that make you most memorable? Like with veterans that you've already worked with, like why would they say Karen is amazing, I liked working with Karen, this is what she offers?
I think it's that I care. I treat them as if they were part of my family. I would want them to get exactly what I would give to anybody. I want to give them the best service. I want them to, because if you do a good job, they're going to refer you to somebody else.
Absolutely.
It's just what you give out comes back, and I'm just about, you know, making sure that, you know, we give the best possible service and that my clients are totally happy, that, you know, you don't want them to be disgruntled when they get to the end of the line.
Yes. And I mean, I think a lot of times too, when we go through the process, it's very easy for them to forget about who was a part of the contribution of them getting the home. So is there any type of follow-up that you do with them after they close on the home?
I usually call after, you know, if I'm not able to make it to closing, I usually call and ask them how everything went. They're like, oh, thank you. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I had a client, well, it was an employee, and I couldn't do employee loans. And so I kind of helped him, got him to a local realtor in Richmond. And he was just, thank you so much. You really helped me, because I would look at his loan documents or, no, you need to do this.
Nice. Okay.
So,
got it.
and again, it's not all about, you know, sure, it's nice to get all the business, but if it's not, or if I can't win, or if I can do a second opinion, and if you've got a good deal, I'm like, okay, yeah, let me look at your good, I don't call it a good faith estimate anymore, but a closing disclosure. Let me see if there's anything different from what they charge and what we charge. And, you know, if you've got a great deal, I'm going to say, look, you know what, that's the best thing for you, then go forward with it.
Well, that's a lot of integrity, absolutely. And that's one of the things, even as a realtor, I work with other realtors all the time, because it's enough for everyone to work with everyone. If it's something you do not offer, I mean, of course, we can always learn, but I also feel that you have to also do what's in the client's best interest. And if that's referring them to the next person that can definitely get them what they're looking for, then why not?
Oh, yeah. I was just recently helping a veteran that he just moved from Nevada back to Richmond, and he didn't have access to a computer. I mean, he was living out of a hotel room trying to purchase a home. So I would print things off, I would meet with him. So just go the extra mile, that, you know, not everybody has that ability, that knows what to do electronically, and it's just taking the extra time, and it's just worth it to me.
Absolutely. Well, now that we're done with all the, you know, the logistics of the VA loan, Karen, from a personal perspective, tell them one thing that is unique about you as a person. One thing.
Oh, I think I'm originally from New Hampshire. I relocated to Virginia, gosh, almost 30 years ago. Married, I have 3 beautiful daughters, and just
Do you like to fish? Do you like to?
I love the beach.
You like the beach?
Love
Okay,
the
so you're a
beach.
beacher. I'm a beacher. I like the beach too.
Love the beach.
So like,
Love going to. I go to a lot of country concerts with my daughters.
I
They
like
love.
the country line dance. Would you believe that?
Do you really?
I really do.
Girl.
I really do. Like I went to Hawaii
It's fun.
and I started doing it. So what I learned about country line dancing, I went in there with like my Charlotte Russe boots, thinking like I'm about to country line dance. No, after I went country line dancing for the first time, I went and got me some authentic country line dancing boots. And when I'm telling you, like even when I go and I do like regular line dances, now I just have to stomp. Stop. Because I mean, country line dancing is so fun, but it is exercise. Let me be honest with you. I mean, I would take my fitness group at least once a week. We would go.
Oh, that's fun.
So,
That's fun.
Yeah. So I like country music now because now I know the steps that go with it. Cotton Joe was interesting, learning that one, and then they have this other one where you're moving like super fast. I cannot think of the name of it, but I like country line dancing. So if you ever find a place here that does country line dancing, I'll let me know about it.
Okay, I sure will.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, we have had a great time meeting Miss Karen Gowin Mortgages. Yes. So thank you so much for coming by
thanks for
and sharing
having me.
information. Once again, this will tune in on January 26th. Is that the 26th? All right. So this will tune in on January 26th. So look forward to it. And I hope that you enjoyed this interview. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And please, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to send them to Miss Karen. All right. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Bye.